G'day guys, my name's Dave Trent and welcome to another GuitarZero2Hero song tutorial. And by request, in this lesson I'll be teaching you a fingerstyle version of the Harry Potter theme song transcribed by Eddie Vandermeer. Now if you want to see him play this song, then just check out the link here. He's an amazing guitarist and makes some really cool fingerstyle renditions of songs. So check him out and give him some love. So for the basics of this song, you'll need your guitar in D tuning. What that means is that you'll take each string down one whole step. So the 6th E string will go down to a D, the A will go down to a G, the D will go down to a C, the G will go down to an F, the B will go down to an A, and the high E will go down to a D. And that's D tuning. Now this is the tuning that Eddie Vandermeer uses in his rendition. So if you want to play in that key, then you'll have to tune it to D tuning. However, if you don't want to detune your guitar, that's fine. You can play exactly how I teach you, but it won't be in the same key as Eddie Vandermeer's. So just bear that in mind. So just a little housekeeping on finger picking. You'll need to make sure that your thumb is taking care of the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings, and that your index, middle, and ring finger are designated to the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. They don't play any other strings other than the ones they're assigned to. Let's start with the intro. Now one thing to note is that this song is in 3/4 timing, so it has a waltz feel. So the timing count will sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Just bear that in mind if you're playing along to a metronome. So with our first position, you'll take your middle finger and you'll put that on the 9th fret of the 4th string. Now the first note we're going to hit is the open 6th string, and then you're going to hit the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings together twice. 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to play that a total of 3 times. And then for the last bar, what you'll do is you'll take your index finger, you'll put that on the 7th fret of the 6th string, and then you'll hit that and slide to the 8th fret. And then you go back down to the 7th fret and you hit the 6th string and the 2nd string at the same time. So that 4th bar will sound like this: 1, 2, 3. And altogether the intro sounds like this. Now let's move on to the verse. So the verse will start in the same position that we had in the intro, so middle finger on that 9th fret. And you're going to start by hitting the 6th and 1st strings together. And then you're going to hit 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings together. And then with your index finger, you'll place it on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. And the pinky will go on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. And you'll hit that. Now those two notes, the 8 and the 11, are played for half the amount of time as the other notes. So it'll sound like this. Now the second bar in this first line will again start with the 6th and 1st strings hit together, and then you'll hit the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings together, and then you'll take your index finger and you'll put that on the 7th fret of the 1st string. So that second bar will sound like this: 1, 2, 3. Now for the third bar of this first line, you're going to take your pinky finger and place it on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. You'll hit the 2nd string and the 6th strings together. And then you'll hit the 4th and 3rd strings together twice. So that bar will sound like this: 1, 2, 3. Now the last bar of this first line will be pretty much exactly the same as that third one, except you'll take your index finger and put that on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. And you'll do the exact same. So 6th and 2nd together, and then 4th and 3rd twice. 1, 2, 3. And altogether, the first line will sound like this. Now moving on to the second line, and this first bar of the second line will be exactly the same as the bar we learnt at the start of the verse. So 6th and 1st open, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd together, and then 8th fret, and then 11th fret. Now for the second bar of the second line, we're going to change positions. We're going to take our index and put that on the 7th fret of the 6th string, and our middle finger will go on the 7th fret. You'll hit them two together, and then you'll slightly bend, very slightly though. So I'll just give it that creepy sort of sound, like that. And then on the third beat, you'll hit the open first string. So 1, 2, 3. For the third bar of this second line, you'll return to this original position with your middle finger on the 9th fret of the 4th string, and you'll hit the 6th and 2nd strings together, and then the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings together twice. And then the last bar of the second line is very easy. It's just the 6th string and then the 2nd string. Now the 6th string's held out for 2 beats, and the 2nd string is hit on the 3rd beat. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3. So altogether, that second line will sound like this. Now for the third line, and the first 2 bars are going to be exactly the same as the first 2 bars of the first line, and that sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So exactly the same as the first 2 bars of the first line. Now the third bar of this third line is where we're going to change things up. So our position is going to change. We're going to take our ring finger and put that on the 10th fret of the 5th string. Pinky finger will go on the 10th fret of the 1st string. You're going to put your index finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. So you'll begin by plucking the 5th and 1st strings together, and then the 2nd string. And then from there, you'll put your middle finger on the 9th fret of the 1st string and lift your pinky up. And you'll hit that. So 1, 2, 3, like that. And that's the third bar of the third line. Now for this 4th bar of this third line, what you'll do is you'll play an F bar chord on this 5th string. So bar the 8th fret with your index finger from the 5th string onwards. And with your middle ring and pinky finger, you'll place it on the 10th fret of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. So you'll begin by hitting the 5th and 1st strings together, and then you'll hit the 4th string, and then the 2nd and 3rds together. So 1, 2, 3. So altogether, that third line will sound like this. And that's it for the third line. So from this bar chord shape, we're going to move on to the 4th line. So to start the 4th line, we're going to need to change positions. So what you'll do is you take your index finger and you'll bar that on the 7th fret from the 4th string onwards. Then with your ring finger, you'll put that on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. Your pinky will go on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, and your middle finger will go on the 8th fret of the 1st string. Now to start, you're going to pluck 5th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings all together at once. And then you're going to hit the 4th string, and then you're going to lift your middle finger, and then hit the 1st and 2nd strings. So that first bar, the 4th line, sounds like this. Like that. And then from there, what we're going to do is change positions again. Index finger on the 7th fret of the 6th string, ring finger on the 9th fret of the 4th string. Now this is the only exception where your index finger can pluck another string other than the 3rd string. So the thumb will hit the 6th string and your index finger will hit the 4th string. So you're going to hit them 2 together, and you're going to slightly bend this 4th string, similar to what we did before, just to give it that creepy sound. And then with our middle finger, you'll put that on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and you'll hit that. And that's on the 3rd beat, so it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3. Now for the 3rd bar of this 4th line, you'll return to our original position where our middle finger is on the 9th fret of the 4th string. You'll start with 6th and 1st strings together, and then you'll hit 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings together twice. So, and finally the last bar is again just the 6th string for 2 beats, and then the 2nd string on beat 3. So 1, 2, 3. So altogether, the 4th line will sound like this. And that's it for the verse. Now that verse is played twice. Now the second time you play it, there's one very minor variation. So the variation will be on the 4th line for the 3rd and 4th bars. Alright? So this minor variation, for the 3rd bar, instead of using your middle finger to hit that ninth fret of the 4th string, what we'll do is we'll use our ring finger to hit that ninth fret. This is in anticipation for the chorus, where we'll need our finger there. So that's why for this bar we'll use our ring finger on that fret instead. So 6th and 1st strings, and then 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings twice. And then the other variation is in this last bar of the last line. You're going to hit the open string for 2 beats again, and then that last note is going to actually be the 8th fret on the 2nd string, and you play that with your middle finger here. So the last 2 bars will sound like this the second time you play the verse. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay, so now I'm going to play the verse at 75 and 100% speed with some close-ups. Okay, so we'll move on to the chorus. Now, from our last position in that verse, where we had our ring finger on the 9th fret of the 4th string, we're going to continue from there. So we're going to put our middle finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and our index finger on the 7th fret of the 1st string. We're going to start by hitting the 1st and 6th string together, and then the 3rd and 4th together, and then the 3rd, 4th and 2nd together. So the first bar will sound like this. 1, 2, 3. And you play that twice, so it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Now the third bar of this first line, what you're going to do is you're going to take your index finger and then just slide it up to the 8th fret of the 1st string. You're going to hit the 1st and 6th strings together first, and then 3rd and 4th together, and then 4th, 3rd and 1st together. Except for this hit, you'll slide your index finger back down to the 7th fret. So that bar will sound like this. 1, 2, 3. And then the last bar of this first line, your index finger will slide down to the 6th fret of the 1st string. And you'll pluck the same notes in this bar. So 1st and 6th together, 3rd and 4th together, and then 4th, 3rd and 1st together. So that whole first line will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. And that's the first line of the chorus. Now from our last position that we were in, we'll just move our index finger up to the 7th fret of the 1st string. And then with our free pinky, we'll put that on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. So for the first bar of the second line, we're going to hit 6th and 1st strings together. And then we're going to hit 4th string, and then 2nd and 3rd. So it'll sound like this. And then the next 3 bars will be very familiar. We've already sort of learnt this. You're going to take your index and go to the 7th fret ring finger on the 9th fret of the 4th string. And this is where you take your index finger and you can actually change the string that you're going to be picking. You're going to hit 6th and 4th strings together and do that little bend. And then with your middle finger here, go to the 8th fret and you're going to pluck that 2nd string. And then you let it all go, except you're going to keep your ring finger on that 9th fret. Then you pluck 1st and 6th strings, and then you pluck 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings together twice. And then for the last bar, you hit the open 6 by itself, held for 2 beats, and then you're going to put your middle finger down on that 8th fret of the 2nd string and hit that on the 3rd beat. So altogether, the second line will sound like this. Now the first 2 bars of the 3rd line are going to be exactly the same as the first 2 bars of the 1st line. So our position was ring on the 9th fret, middle on the 8th fret, and index on the 7th fret of the 1st string. Now the 3rd bar of this 3rd line, we've already learnt before in the verse. This is where you take your ring and your pinky and you put them on the 10th fret of the 5th and 1st strings. Your index finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Hit the 5th and 1st strings, the 2nd string, and then with your middle go down to the 9th fret of the 1st string. And then the next bar is where we play that bar chord. So altogether the 3rd line will sound like this. And that's it for the 3rd line. Now the 4th line just has 2 bars, alright? And these bars are bars that we've already learnt before, again, in the verse. Okay, so remember that chord shape where we had our index finger barring the 7th fret from the 4th string downwards? Alright, so we're going to go to that. Index finger on the 7th fret, ring finger on the 9th of the 3rd string, our pinky on the 10th fret of the 2nd, and our middle on the 8th fret of the 1st. We're going to pluck 5th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings together. And then we hit the 4th string, and then lift the middle finger, and then hit 1st and 2nd strings. And then we change the positions to that sort of octave we had, and we pluck the 6th and 4th strings, do that little bend, and then with our middle finger we hit the 8th fret of the 2nd string. So in total, the 4th line sounds like this. Altogether, the last 2 bars sound like this. And that's it for the chorus. Now I'm going to play this at 75 and 100% speed with some close-ups. And finally we have our outro, which is fairly easy. So from the last position that we were in, where we had our ring finger on the 9th fret of the 4th string, we're going to start there. We're going to hit the 1st and 6th strings together, and then we're going to hit the 2nd and 3rd strings, and then the 4th by itself, and then back to the 2nd and 3rd strings. And we're going to do that fairly smoothly, so it'll sound like this. And in the next bar, what you'll do is you'll take your middle finger and you'll put that on the 7th fret of the 4th string. Now for this bar, we're not going to start by hitting the 6th and 1st strings together. You'll just hit the 6th string by itself. But then everything else is the same. So 2nd and 3rd, 4th, and then 2nd and 3rd. So that bar will sound like this. So far we have. And then next, all we do is just slide that finger down to 5th fret and play the exact same thing. Then to 4th fret, and then to 2nd fret. And then for this next bar, we're going to take our ring finger and we'll put that on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And then you can lift your middle, and the picking will be the exact same. And then this last bar is the only little different one. So we're going to hit 6th and 1st together, and then with your middle finger, put that on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And then you pluck 2nd and 3rd, 4th, and then 2nd and 3rd together. Finally, to finish up, we just have some harmonics on the 5th fret here. So to play harmonics, all you'll need to do is just rest lightly your index finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. Now you're not going to push down at all, just enough to touch the strings, and you'll place that right over the top of the fret, the metal strip here. You'll place it right over the top, but don't push down, just touch the strings. And then when you pluck the strings, it will sound like this. And that's how we're going to finish the song. So again, in total, the outro will sound like this. The way I like to play those harmonics is not by picking them, but by raking it with the nail on my index finger. I stroke down those strings with just my nail of the index finger. I'm not picking it, I'm stroking it like that. Almost like a flick. So now I'm going to play the full thing at full speed. So play along and see how you go. Be sure to head over to GuitarZero2Hero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Also be sure to visit the GuitarZero2Hero web store. There's a bunch of some really cool guitar merchandise out there, and it would mean so much if you pick something up to help support GuitarZero2Hero. So if you've enjoyed this and you want to see more in the future, then please, it would help so much if you hit subscribe, hit that like button, leave your thoughts, comments and questions below, any requests as well. And I'll see you next time at GuitarZero2Hero. Cheers.